I warmly welcome you all to our today's webinar. Today we are going to have a very exciting session, and I hope that you all don't miss out on it. And I'll give you a little brief about Dheya Career Mentors. So, when we talk about Dheya, we have to start with our logo. Okay, so if you look at it closely, it has a certain balance to it. This balance is what our organization symbolizes. So our whole life we revolve around ourselves into careers, and our work gives us the identity we proudly hold. We work for decades together to build that particular identity. And Dheya strongly believes that if the identity doesn't represent who we truly are, we can't find the happiness and satisfaction which we all are looking for. This is why we have put our last 15 years in helping people find their true calling through their careers, and in these 15 years, we have helped more than 4 lakh students and professionals find the identity and the balance in their life. You can raise your hand, wherein there will be certain questions. You can raise your hand if you have a question, and you can answer as well by raising your hand. Beside that, you can share some expressions. There is the session, the whole webinar is going to be interactive webinar. So there will be certain polls wherein you can, there will be a question, and then you will have to choose. You have to do voting, then submit the answer, and then there will be a list wherein you will get to know all the questions, and then you can answer them. There also will be a Q&A session at the end of the session. So if you have any questions and queries, you can put down into that question and answer session. So before we start, I would like to announce that we were hoping to get more parents to complete the test, and there were some lucky parents who have registered first. So we promised that we've been giving this personality assessment test to these few parents. So few of these parents are going to be selected whose strength demonstration is going to happen as a part of this session. So hold your seat back and wait that we are going to conduct the demonstration between the session. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure you might as well be looking forward for this. We are eagerly waiting for this session, and we are going to discuss a lot of stuff about your children, how to deal with them during the studies, and about why his or her strengths are important in understanding in the life. Coming to the topic of the session, the topic is give your child a purpose to work hard and understand why of the education. Before diving into it, let's understand what does it mean. I'll ask you a question, just answer me, okay? You can put your answers in the comments. Would you do anything without knowing the purpose of it? Anybody? You can put your answers in the chat box. Would you do anything without knowing the purpose of it? Yes, exactly. Most of the people is saying that no, they won't. It's so obvious that you won't do anything without knowing the purpose of it. Just I will ask you another thing. If I tell you that come travel with me, and you're going to ask, the first question that you are going to ask is why, and the second question will be why with me. If I ask you that, if I tell you that travel with me, you're going to ask 2 questions. First would be why, and then you would ask why do you want me to travel with you. So the day you understand why I want you to travel with me, the trip will be enjoyable. Because you know the purpose of the trip, because we had a talk about it, and then you understood why I want you with me. Similarly, without knowing the purpose of it, it would be just waste of time. You won't enjoy the trip properly. So similarly, today's kids are getting education, but he or she doesn't know what's the purpose of the education.
I don't want a white shoe.
Today we have with us two eminent speakers, Mr. Anand Desai and Naveen Badrinarayan. Mr. Naveen has been an veteran to Indian Navy and currently he is the Director of Research and Product Strategy at Dheya Career Mentors. And Mr. Anand has been a corporate executive and now the founder and CEO of Dheya Career Mentors. So I welcome you, Naveen and Anand, to our today's session.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm taking over now.
To set the ball rolling, I would like to ask Naveen to share his views on our today's topic, and then post that I would ask Anand to share his views.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya. I'm thanking you so much for having introduced us and for welcoming the parents. Warm welcome to all parents here, and I'm sure all of us are going to have a very lively and interactive session in the next 1 hour or so. We're going to walk you through a lot of things, and personally, myself, Anand, both of us are been working in this field for a long time, and we are parents ourselves. I have two sons, both of them in the one is in second year of college and one is in the final year of 12th standard. So we understand the feelings, the emotions, and everything that all the parents here are having. So we're going to be sharing a lot of views, and we're going to have a lot of interaction and discussion. Personally, if you ask me, this is something that's been bothering most of us here. And as a parent, I can tell you, every day when I get back home and I ask my kids, I keep finding that there's a kind of, when I ask them, okay, how do you find this education? What's happening, the studies and all that. Every time I get to see somebody who's extremely either my son especially is like, why am I studying this stuff? Why am I doing this? And many times I do not have the answer to give my son. So I think this session today is going to be an eye-opener for many of us here. And, we have with us Anand also here. And I think I'm really eagerly waiting forward to take this, dive deep into it, and let's brainstorm and let's understand the depth of what we are trying to do and why is it very important in the present day and the future to come. With this, I'll just pause and I'll hand over to Anand for taking over the session. Over to you, Anand.
Thank you, Naveen. So today we're going to talk about the purpose of education, and I'm sure every student. Let me first ask, how many parents do we have? Can you put on the poll, please?
Yeah, 1 minute. You'll be seeing a poll on your screen, so you could possibly answer it, please.
So please answer. So we have 25 at this moment, 25% parents. Now here we're parent with child, 30%. Okay, it's moving. So great. So great. We have majority of the parents, around 70% of them are parents, and then we have another 28%. Okay, here's it. So it's a kind of a balance. Lovely. 19 responses. So give me one more responses, please. Okay. So we have a kind of students also over here, Naveen, and it's something very interesting. We're going to talk about it a lot. Okay. So when it comes to, that is what I'm talking about. Okay. So what I would do is I'll open this forum. Before I open, Naveen, would you want to conduct the
Anand, there has been a little bit of a glitch here, so I'll take the session. I'm just waiting. There was a power supply breakdown, and my PC has shut off. It's okay. I'll continue with the session. I've just gone on to another system. Anyway, so I'll just continue with your session, and then I'll also explain the strengths of those few lucky. We had a lucky draw yesterday, based on we had promised that the first 50 parents who give the assessment, and out of those parents who had given the assessment, we have done a lucky draw, and we got 7 names. Okay, 7 names. I do not know if they're part of this group, but then I'm going to announce those names and then we are going to talk about them. But before we do that, I want to just add on to what Anand said, and I'm sure a lot of parents will have a lot of questions there. And I, as a parent, would also pose a question to Anand. Okay, and I'm going to voice the opinion of parents out here, and you can raise your hand if you agree with me. See, we have been dealing with so many parents, and as a parent, I know what is the feeling that we have. That yeah, all this is very nice to listen to. All this is good. but there is a fear that has crept into our minds, and the fear is, what if, one is, there are two fears. One is, every child has got multiple interests, so it's not that, and how do you identify which is the right interest for a child? So that's one question that comes to the mind, and I think most parents will agree with me, because especially in teenage, you get influenced by what you see around, and everybody says, I like this also, I like that also. So to decide something that this is what I want to do for life could be a very difficult decision to take, especially for a teenager. So that's one point. The second is, the system has put so much of fear into our minds that, if I don't score well in my 10, so I keep listening to parents, if he does not score 90% plus, he is not going to get admission in 11th. If he does not score good marks, he's not going to get admission in any good college, and his life is doomed. Now, this is a fear that has gone into our minds, deep into our veins, it has gone into it. Now, I would like to pose these two questions to Anand. If you can throw some light on this to the parents, I'm sure, how many parents agree with me on these questions? Please raise your hands. I think most of the parents will, actually align with whatever I'm asking. And if you can just answer these questions, Anand, I think it's going to give a lot of value to all the parents out here, including me.
And Naveen, just to summarize, can you just, because there are some people who just came in late, okay, can you tell me the questions again?
So the first question I'm asking is, at teenage, okay, every child, gets influenced by what they see around. So there's too many interests in their mind. They say every day their interests keep changing. Someday they say, I want to be a lawyer. Someday they say, I want to be a designer. They're good in sports also. There are some kids who are good in everything. So how do you make a decision? Because making a decision becomes for life. It's too early to take a decision for life. So a lot of people believe that जब तक graduation नहीं होता है ना, छोड़ दो बच्चे को. Graduation के बाद let them decide what they want to be. Life is long. So let them decide later on. So that's one point. The second point being, there is this fear that has gone into our veins, okay, into every parent's veins, that agar marks nahi aaya, his life is doomed. Because, if he doesn't get good marks in 10th, he will not get admission into a good stream in 11th. If he does not get good marks in 12th or doesn't crack the entrance exam, he's gone. He's going to be a commoner. He's not going to go anything in life. So these two aspects are something that's beating every parent's mind today in society. So if you can answer these two questions, it will be a great value add for everybody here.
I'll answer this question a little differently, okay? Let me start with helping you understand your kids broadly. Okay, some kids are, I would say, skill oriented. They love a lot of skills. They can play good music. They can, I would say, paint on a canvas. They can draw well. They can sing well. They can play well. They can even work with technology very well. Some kids are like that. But they're very practical and non-academic, I would call it as. But they're wonderful kids. They're just wonderful kids. At the same time, you have another kid who is very, very knowledge oriented, deeply knowledge oriented. These kids are those kids who are actually, they love studies, they love gathering information, they keep on taking in. And these are the second kind of kids. And there's a third kind of kid, which is very, very personality driven. They are like leaders in the society. They are very talkative. They are aggressive. They are self-motivated. They are different kids.
Power supply mein connect.
Now, what happens is when these three kids are there, okay, then three sets of kids are there.
Connected to power supply.
Okay, when these three kids are there, the three different types of kids, we try to give knowledge to the physical kid. We try to give the skill to the kid who doesn't have a patience. And we try to give, I would say, that personality orientation to a very silent, study-oriented kid. Now, when these things are happening, what we do is generally, we align the wrong person to the wrong thing. And that is the worst thing to happen. And when this really goes into a particular problem, most of the kids are misaligned to what they can really do in life. Now what happens is, this is the first part of it. What about those interests from the outside world? Now please remember, one of the most important thing is, every child, unfortunately, studies from those areas or those places, let me tell you, from those places where he or she can find information. Kids are very inquisitive. And when we have these kids which are very inquisitive kids, these kids start going and doing things from the outside world. For example, let's take this. Go and type anything on Google. How to. You will see all sorts of things that are actually thrown up by the, very intelligent search. And who's searching this? Everybody is searching it. Why? It has not been taught in the schools. So our first job over here, is to give maximum awareness of two things. Number one, awareness of what the child is good at and what the child is in terms of personality, in terms of abilities, in terms of the core value systems, and what the child can be in the world of work. And this awareness, the minute we start giving it, the child will start having a library of things that the child can choose from. Unfortunately, today, the library which the child has is driven by the market. And the market is continuously pushing. So, if you ask a 10th standard child, what do you want to do? Either a doctor or an engineer, either a JEE or a NEET. And that's unfortunate. Now, what happens is the minute you start doing this particular JEE or NEET business, okay, the child is only aware of those things. So why don't we expand the awareness? Give some career education to the child. Give some career literacy to the child. Expand the child's horizon. And if you expand the child's horizon, the child will have a library of things to choose from. Library, I would call it as. We ran a small career education, career labs sometime back. And now we're going to launch some new batches to it also. Okay, in that career education, we first told them that these are the different type of fields. There are 42 fields across the entire this thing. Some fields are dying, some fields are growing, some fields are trending, some fields are contemporary. Now, when we give this awareness to the children start thinking about it. Oh, I was just thinking that it was only either engineering or medical, but there are more to it. More to it. Now, whether the child takes information from the outside world, it doesn't matter. This child knows more than the world. Such choices become easier. I hope I answered the first question, Naveen.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful one. And the second one is about the fear, the fear of missing out, FOMO.
Yes, yeah, the FOMO. Now, frankly, if you keep your child always in fear, you will get only a fearful child throughout his life. Scared of everything in the world. Everything. So, today, I can just scare off anybody by telling them that I have got some, nose flowing and I have some temperature. Everybody from my office will run away from me. This is a fear I can create within 2 minutes. Just within 2 minutes. Because the problem is for 18 years of life, when the child is getting educated, you kept him into the fear of, losing out something. But frankly, nothing is lost. Nothing is lost. Let me tell you. I was dealing with my niece who was in Delhi, and she's a fantastic artist. She created a nice Ganpati for me. She created a nice Krishna for me. She created a pen stand with her, some waste material. She creates houses and all that, and she's just in 8th standard. But every day there is a fight in the house because she doesn't study. Then I had to tell her parents. I said, listen, how much are you saving? And for whom are you saving? You keep fighting for her not studying. Okay, but she is a fantastic artist. Tomorrow, we just start giving her courses in art. Whether she passes 10th or not 10th, of course, I will align her to get into the world's best art school. That is not a problem. But then, if you keep on pushing her to do things which she doesn't like and keep on reprimanding her, she will run away from that place. Okay, please remember that. You tell her that you are fantastic at art and you can really do well. You can really do well if you can go into the MIT School of Design in USA And for that, you have to study. And if the day you start allowing, you don't need to push her, she will push herself. And that fear has to be removed by telling the child that there are so many possibilities to do things. Today, when does fear come? When there is no hope. Let's give a lot of hope. Let's give a lot of possibilities to these kids. And the minute you give hope and possibility, the child starts flying. Remember this. Today, we have seen suicides happening because kids feel this is the end of the road. I didn't clear NEET. I didn't clear JEE. They keep on sitting because they only feel that this is the end of the road. But that is not the end of the road. Life moves on. This end of the road was created by a small door that was created by the market. Today, one of my friends is a deep sea diver in Singapore. He earns 10 times the best surgeon in the world. 10 times than the best surgeon in the world. Okay, let me tell you this. He's taken the contract of repairing some cables with a team of people, and he maintains those cables. And the way he earns is like something which is you can't even imagine. Now, this is what is life all about. Okay, so there is no, you cannot tell the child, agar JEE nahi hua, NEET nahi hua. So this is not the end of the road. It is just the beginning that you are finding out possibilities, and there is hope all over the place. The minute you give hope, fear runs away and just jumps out of the window and runs away. Right? Okay.
Superb, Anand. I think that kind of sums up saying that, that means hope is very important word. And I think what is very important for all us parents is to build a lot of hope in our children. And hope not with a kind of a fantasy in our mind, but with some reality, with data, with statistics, with knowing what is happening in the world. So that's where I think, a good information database, a good information, authentic information, credible information of the world of work in the future, and connecting it to the right strength of the person. I think these two things, if we are able to align, I think that sums up saying that if every parent were able to understand their child very well, because I've seen some parents, because if the child doesn't score well in studies and he's not doing well, what happens is there's a tendency to form an impression that my child is going the wrong way. People don't realize that there are three categories of children. There are knowledge-oriented children, there are skill-oriented children, and personality-oriented children. So I think if that classification comes to our mind as parents, and we are able to classify early in age, is my child a knowledge person, skill person, or personality person? Because that nature may not change, and even if it changes, it's going to be much later, but it's going to be something that's going to drive the child, saying that build an excitement into the child's mind. So understanding children becomes a step number one. Step number two is understanding where this alignment can happen. Where can I child build possibilities in his mind, saying that I can be someone great here, I can be someone great there. Because that great thinking, if it does not come early in age, I think again, the market will take over. So the market is going to drive fear and saying that, okay, if you don't score well, you'll not do well. So I think these second point, and then after that, it becomes very easy. Just draw a path and put a plan into place to reach there. So I think that's what is the summary. So now what we'll do is, we'll just open the house to some question and answers before we start with that strength demonstration. So let us hear some parents out also with this wonderful explanation that Anand has given. I'm sure a lot of people will be having an urge to ask a lot of questions. So let's open this house. Vidya?
We can unmute that person. I'll allow mics to those people. So let's start off with, I think, Sachin Bangale.
1 minute. Allow mic. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll allow mic to those people who have raised their hands. So I'm allowing mic for everybody. Somebody can start off. Just unmute yourself and speak. Okay, Shri Vidya, you can start off. You raised your hand. Anybody wants to ask a question or put in the chat? We'll be happy to answer.
Okay, while you're all answering these questions, let me let the cat out of the bag. I've got the 5 names who are there in the session today, and they are lucky enough to have been selected, whose strengths, and why we're telling these strengths to you, because since we say that every human being is unique, every child is unique, so are you. Everybody is unique out here. So if we have the capability of understanding what is the uniqueness in a child and able to explain it, so we're going to demonstrate that to you as a parent. So you're going to see, so those 5 lucky names whose whose strengths are going to be demonstrated today are as follows. So I have in the audience here with me Neha Vaidya. So are you there? If I would request Anand, if you can just allow her to even share the video, so we can, we can see them also. So you can actually, the audience can see them.
Is there? I don't know.
Neha Vaidya, there's the name of Swapna Vaidya. Just see if there's Swapna Vaidya. And the second lucky parent is Pragya Verma in the name of RP Verma.
Okay, I'm allowing them to open up their mic.
So you can open your video also, okay? So we are going to be talking about you.
I'm opening up your mic.
So the first is Swapna Vaidya, then RP Verma. Then we have Priya Bonde, and this is Shreya Bonde. So the name of Shreya Bonde. So you can open up that. Then
Wait, just hold on. Let me open up. Allow mic. Sapna Bonde. I've allowed mic. Wait, hold on. Where did she go?
Shreya Bonde.
Sorry, Shreya Bonde. Okay, I'm allowing the camera also. Okay, I've opened the camera.
Then the fourth lucky parent is so Rangaswamy.
Rangaswamy, yes. Allow mic. Allow camera. Yes, I've allowed it.
So you can put on your videos, please. We would love to see the lucky parents. And don't be worried, we are not going to speak anything. We said we are a strength-based organization, so we are only talking about your strengths, okay? So don't be worried about it. I know there must be some, worry in your mind. What are they going to talk about me? So don't worry about it. We are only going to talk good things about you, okay? And then the last lucky parent that we have here is Simi Varki.
Yes, I've allowed mic for her right now, and I'm allowing camera also. Yes. So what I'll do is I will unshare the presentation and I'll put on this entire thing. Come on.
Okay.
Yes.
So let me start off with Neha Harshal Vaidya. So am I right? That's.
Hold on. Before that, Mr. Verma, can you put on your camera, please? Simi ma'am, can you put on your camera, please? I think there is somebody who's asking a question. Yes, Simi. Okay. Simi, you're a child or a parent? Is it your... Okay, who's that? Simi, yes. I can't see you, ma'am. Yes. Perfect. That's nice. Okay, over to you, Naveen.
Okay. So I'm starting with Neha Vaidya here. Okay. So as we said, there are different people out here. So, we have found something very interesting about Neha out here. So Neha, if so I'll tell you, okay, let me start off with this. Why are we talking about the strengths? The strengths are very important, as we said, that everybody talks about weaknesses and then you get people scared. If I tell you that you're not good at this, not good at that, you're going to start thinking and then it's going to affect you very adversely. On the reverse, if I keep telling you your strengths and I fill you with strengths in your mind, so you're going to see how it's going to affect you. You're going to see the demonstration of that. So I'll tell you, look at Neha Vaidya out here. What we saw is you're a person, who's absolutely, we call you a kind of a person who is very, very focused, a hardcore taskmaster. When it comes to getting work done, when it comes to ensuring that work is done, you're a person who will not leave any stone unturned. You're a person who will, you are a person who's very, aggressive, very demanding, very forceful, very pushy. At the same time, very intelligent, very structured, but then you want things done fast. You're not a person who likes anything which is routine work, For you, dynamics is very important. Action is very important. You're very focused on getting the work done. You don't listen to excuses. For you, excuses are a no-no. When you're put into a crisis, you're a person who come up with ideas and you come up with creative ideas to solve the problem. For you, getting the result done is very critical and important. So you are a completely, people like you make excellent operational leaders. You put you into a situation where an operation has to be done, you will excel in it because you're a person who works fast. Your mind works very quickly. You know exactly what is the solution. You're quick in understanding the problem and giving a solution to the problem. You're very quick in getting the work done. So you are a kind of a person who wants good quality work. At the same time, it has to be done fast. So at times your subordinates will get confused, what does she want? She wants processes also, systems also. She wants everything to be done properly. She also wants it to be done as of yesterday. How do we do it? So you're very, very non-emotional, non-superficial, a kind of a hardcore taskmaster. So that's what you are. At the same time, you're very intelligent, very structured, very systematic, methodical. You don't like anything which is, shoddily done. Everything has to be perfect, but it has to be done quickly. And you're not interested in any routine work. You're always looking for dynamics and action. So you're very action-oriented, very independent. You don't like somebody telling you what is to be done. You always want to be the number one there, getting the work done on your own. You're a kind of a operational leader is what I would say. So whatever I spoke about you, Ms. Neha Vedya, what do you think? How much does it match with you as a person?
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
First, thank you so much. What can I say? This is a little surprise for me, and very grateful कि आपने मुझे एनालाइज किया और जो मेरे बारे में मुझे ही कुछ बातें अभी पता चली है, तो जस्ट से थैंक यू. और जो मेरी कैपेसिटीज है उस पे और मैं वर्कआउट जरूर करूंगी. And you can tell me my weaknesses also so that I can improve myself.
This is very important to understand. अभी मैं अगर आपको वीकनेस बताता तो मैं आपका क्या बोलता कि मैं बोलता कि आप ना you are very aggressive and you push people too hard at times, So somebody may call this a weakness, that you're not an emotional person who will kind of sympathize or empathize too much. But I don't want to talk about it because I know that you're capable of getting the work done, and that's more important to understand. See, every coin has got two sides. Now whether you want to focus on the heads of the coin or the tail of the coin is up to you. Now every human being is different. Somebody is made to get out. For example, अगर प्रोजेक्ट मैनेज करना है, कंस्ट्रक्शन का प्रोजेक्ट है, तो काम पे टाइम खत्म करना है, तो डंडा मार के काम होगा ना. सॉफ्टली बात करके, प्यार से बात करके, साथ में बिठा के तो नहीं होने वाला काम. तो ऐसे काम के लिए जहां पे डंडा मारना है वहां पे यू आर वेरी केपेबल. बट ऐसे काम के लिए जहां पे किसी को काउंसिल करना है, किसी के साथ बैठना है, तो आप कर सकते हो, ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो. बट इट इज नॉट नेचुरल टू यू. आपको अपने आप को चेंज करना पड़ेगा, विच वी आर केपेबल ऑफ डूइंग. बट नेचुरली एक एबिलिटी होती है हर ह्यूमन बीइंग में. हमारा जो स्वभाव होता है, दैट स्वभाव is what we are talking about. So Neha's स्वभाव is that I am a taskmaster. I can get work done quickly. I am very quick at it. So you should align yourself in areas where this nature of yours can be utilized. Automatically you will find yourself getting excited, you feeling positive about it, and you enjoying. Rather than getting into areas where the nature required is completely opposite of yours. Are you understanding what I am saying? In the Bhagavad Gita they say स्वभाव पहले समझो और उस स्वभाव को स्वधर्म की तरफ लेके जाओ, ना कि उल्टा. Human beings are adaptable creatures. We can adapt ourselves into any environment. But the point is not that. The point is, what do I enjoy doing for 24 hours? If I put into this work, I'll be excited. I'll enjoy myself. So you are a person who will enjoy yourself doing dynamic things, action-oriented things, operational things, getting projects completed, working on getting results, working on when there is some crisis happening, you will get into it and you will fight the fire. You'll go and work hard. That is something that you will enjoy rather than doing some routine work. Are you understanding that? Do you agree with me on that? Do you agree? Whatever I'm saying, do you agree with me on that?
Absolutely. Yes.
So that's your nature, and that's what we have found out. Using that small assessment that you gave, we have identified it because we have our own tool, we have our own method of knowing people. So with that, we are able to identify these characteristics, and then we can suggest to a person that what is the probable place where you can be more happier. That's very important to understand, right? Okay, so let's move to the next lucky parent, and that is here we have Pragya Verma. Or let me start with the Priya Prakash Bonde, since she's there, the name of Shreya Bonde.
Sir,
So
I'm a student. Shreya.
you're a student, but your mom has given the assessment, right? Is it right, Priya?
Yes, this is for me.
So you gave the test or your mom gave the test?
I.
Oh, but it was given by your mother has actually entered the data, and the age is 39. So we will not be able to talk about you, okay, Shreya? Because what happens is when we are trying to do this psychometric, it is done with an age and a gender. So we have a norming tool. That means when anybody gives the test, it goes and gets compared with your age group and your gender in the back end. So accordingly, your characteristics come out. So if you have given the test, you should have entered your age. But the age entered out here is your mother's, Priya Prakash Bonde, age 39. So I cannot be talking about, your assessment which your mother is, which you have given in name of your mother. You should have given it as yourself. Okay, Shreya?
Okay, sir. No problem.
Okay. Now let's look at Rangaswamy sir. Rangaswamy sir's graph I have here. Okay, great. So I have a person out here who, you are a person who I call it as a, like we call your terminology, what we call you a specialist, okay? And when I say specialist, what do I mean? I think Mr. Rangaswamy is a person who is an absolute, he's like a Sachin Tendulkar or a Rahul Dravid of cricket. He does that. He's known for that one thing that he's too good at. He's a specialist in that field. Now, I do not know much about you, but whatever you take up, you kind of a pillar of your organization. You're a person who has in-depth knowledge of it. People like you actually go deep into stuff. Your due diligence is very, very, too deep. You're a non-superficial, deep person, but at the same time, very, very stable, very methodical, very, calculative. Like you would think 100 times before you jump into something. You will do a lot of planning. You're a long-term strategic planner kind of a person, extremely cooperative, extremely supportive, extremely agreeable, and people like you actually become great researchers, become great, deep thinkers, research people. There are people like you who do actually do a deep research. I do not know your background, but then a person like you, if you're told to do research, you will go so deep into it. Probably you will write a 1,000-page PhD. Your thesis will be of 1,000 pages because you'll go so deep into it. You'll find every single detail about it. You'll go into a lot of depth. You'll find out a lot of information, and you will take a lot of time, but you will do it to such accuracy and such consistency that people will rely on you completely. So that makes you a very reliable, very dependable, trustworthy person with a lot of consistency, a lot of stability, a lot of long-term thinking, a lot of risk planning. So you're not a risk taker, but you're a great risk planner. You can come up with, good plan for the future, saying that, okay, if you do this, where can you go wrong? What can happen? So you'll put 10 steps, 20 steps into place. Everything in your life happens step by step. You're not a person who jumps into something. You will do a lot of step-by-step analysis, a lot of calculation before you actually take a decision. And then you're also a person who is very compassionate and very caring. So people actually come to you. You're not a very, you're a very reserved person. But then when you choose your friends, you select your friends very carefully. And the friends that you have, the few friends that you have are very deep with you. They will come and tell you all their sob stories, and you will give them a listening ear. You will solve their problems. You love doing that. You love solving personal problems of people. You love listening to people's stories, problems, and you love giving them a shoulder to cry on. So that makes you a natural counselor. You're a very supportive person by leadership style. You support people while, in your leadership capacity. You're a good team player. You're very cooperative and supportive and very soft-hearted and soft-spoken personality. You would not be, you don't like getting into any confrontation or any argument. You like to keep things very peaceful and harmonious all the time. So that's how you are as a person, and a completely non-superficial, deep person who, thinks a lot, introspects a lot, understands people very well, goes into a lot of depth of information, very stable, loves a lot of stability and security in life. Like you don't like any kind of crisis or chaos. You like to stay away from any kind of fire or any kind of crisis. You like to keep things peaceful and harmonious wherever you work. So whatever I spoke about you, Mr. Rangaswamy, how much does it match with you, and what do you think about it?
Yeah, good afternoon, Naveen and Mr. Anand, and thanks for this session first of all. Whatever you said, almost 60 to 70% I could relate, and some of the things maybe I think I have to discover myself, whatever you have said.
Okay, great. So so we call this kind of personality a specialist personality, who are very deep and very stable. So accordingly, when we connect this person, we will say you should look at areas like helping people, or going deep into research, or getting into some kind of service kind of oriented atmosphere where you can do service to the world. These all areas will excite you also. You'll feel good about it and you will enjoy on it. So that's how the alignment would happen. Right, sir? You're understanding how the strength gets connected to the world of work.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah, so that's what we do. Now, the third lucky parent here I have with me, Simi Varki. Okay. Okay, so Simi Varki is absolutely similar to Rangaswamy sir. Whatever I spoke about Mr. Rangaswamy, Simi, you're absolutely like that. You're also a person who is a natural counselor, a very soft-spoken person who likes to be very harmonious. Like you generally have a very family-like atmosphere, motivates you a lot. You like to create that harmony around you wherever you are. You don't like confrontations. You don't like, loud voices, shouting. You don't like that. You just like to stay away from that kind of confrontation. You like to create an environment of, harmony, family-based environment, the soft-spoken environment, which is, one-on-one. So one-on-one kind of communication where you naturally counsel somebody, listen to somebody with a lot of empathy and a lot of compassion is something that comes close to your nature. So you love to help people like that, one-on-one. That's something that's very close to you. So we call you a person who is very patient. You've got a lot of patience. So the biggest strength that you hold is your patience, your stability, your good listening abilities, the way you listen to people, the way you understand them, the way you show your compassion towards people to solve their problems. These are the things that actually excite you and motivate you. So what do you think, Sibi?
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'm feeling so nice with so many positive attributes of mine. Thank you so much. And that really motivates me to be a counselor, someone who can really help someone. Thank you
Great.
so much.
So
for your
have you
time.
seen the magic? Have you seen the magic of these words? Moment I give these words, what automatically came to your mind is what I can be. That's what Anand has been speaking about from the morning. Moment we gave these words to you, immediately your mind went saying that, okay, he says so much, that means I can be a great counselor. So automatically the thought of destination came to your mind. This is exactly how it happens with children also. When a child is told about his strengths, automatically the mind starts going towards, okay, this person is saying so much about me and I agree with it. Therefore, I can be a good, great so-and-so person. So that's how this thing works. So I wanted to demonstrate this to all the parents to show that how this power of words can actually change the mind of a person to start thinking about about hopefulness, about being someone great in this world. And that's so important in the world today with so much of fear in the market, so much of negativity in the market. It's important for us all to put these positive words into the minds of our youth. And that's why we are trying to demonstrate this to you. Okay. Now let's look at the next one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Myself, Priya Bonde.
Priya.
My daughter was attending the meeting.
Okay.
Actually, I was out.
Okay. So I have Priya Bonde's graph here. Okay. Okay.
But
So
you had done the test, or your daughter had done the test?
who had given the
My
assessment?
daughter has done.
Then that's not valid, right? Because this is a personality assessment to identify your strengths.
Yes, sir. What taste or what? Taste
Yes.
I have given, sir. Taste
You
I
have
have
given.
given.
Okay,
My
okay.
daughter was attending the meeting.
Okay, no problem. So I'll talk about you. So, when we look at your profile, Priya, you're a person who is, we call it a person who is absolutely, you love to be with people. You are a person who's too people oriented. You love to listen to people. You love to counsel people. So you are a very, warm hearted person who likes to help people a lot, listen to them. You are a natural counselor. So being, all that I spoke about the previous person out here is all matches with you, but at the same time, you are a complete extrovert who likes to, connect with people, help people. You always have a lot of friends around. And at the same time, you create a harmonious environment. And at the same time, you're also very systematic, methodical, process-oriented person. You're very risk averse. You don't like to get into any kind of risky, areas. You would like to be very stable and secure and homely wherever you are. But then at the same time, you always think about people before you do something. For example, if there is a picnic happening, you'll not just take food for yourself. You'll carry food for the
Yes.
entire organization. So you will say, "मैं सबके लिए लेके जाऊंगी."
देने वाले.
Yeah.
You're a natural giver. You give to people. You like to give to people. You like to interact with people, know a lot of people. So you'll have a lot of friends around. I'm sure you have a lot of friends, and they all love to come and tell you a lot of stuff, and you connect with them emotionally. You love to, help them around. You like to solve their problems.
They
And
do,
you're-
sir.
Right. So that's your nature. So people like you do very well in, service oriented areas like a social service worker, or getting into, managing an NGO, or doing something like that, or doing probably research in people oriented areas where you can actually solve problems of people. These are the areas where, you're also very knowledge oriented and research oriented, very systematic, very methodical. You're not a person who would get into anything which is not, organized properly. For you, everything has to be structured, methodical, systematic, well organized. That's how your mind works. At the same time, you also love people, and you're very stable and very harmonious. So that's your nature. So how much does it match with you?
All things for a probability.
So right. So what we have done is, we have taken 5 parents out here. This is for all the parents here. What we're trying to show is that I'm interacting for the first time with all of you, right? And we have a tool today which can identify the nature of people. And with that, we also have the research saying that, okay, if these people are like this, in the future, 10 years from now, what are the areas in the world where this can be connected so that this person excels, so that this person can create something great in this world? Now that's the connectivity. That's the connecting the dots that we are talking about, which Anand has been talking about. So, and we create hope in the child's mind, saying that, come on, you got these characteristics. This is the world of work. This is what you can do, and this is how this can connect to that, and you will do very well in it because your nature is aligned. Because I'm not going to put Shreya into a role where she has to be aggressive with people. For example, if there is a role like sales and marketing in a company, and you have to be a business development guy, and you have to put pressure on people, and you have to hit people and get work done, and you have to shout at them, will Shreya be able to do a good work? She'll adjust into that environment. I'm not saying no, you can do it, but will you enjoy doing that work? You may not, right? It's not something that you would love to do. But on the other hand, if I put you into an area where you have to, help people, work with people, be very service oriented, you will probably enjoy that work. And where you enjoy your work, automatically you will excel in doing that work. So it is as simple as that. But we cannot connect anybody to anywhere. So we have to know that person. Step number one, we have to know that person deeply. And we have to talk and validate it with each other, with the family. It is not only with the child, mother, father, child, everyone has to sit as a family with a mentor, with the tool. We have to understand each other very well. We have to validate it, and then we have to give suggestions. And then based on those suggestions, a decision has to be taken by the child. It will not be taken by any of us. Ultimately it's the child's life. So let the child take the decision. And once the decision is taken, we stand by it as a parent, as a mentor. We all together stand by it and hold the hand of the child to ensure that the child reaches his destination. Even if they fall 10 times, they are not going to bother, because it's their choice, it's their dream. So they may fail, they may fall down, but they'll get up and stand again. That belief we have, because the confidence and the enjoyment and the pleasure of working in that area is theirs. So that's the whole concept of, why this whole method of planning your life at an early age is very important, so that they don't get, the time doesn't get wasted out. These 6 years are preparation time to enter into the world of work. From 13 years till 19 years, you actually prepare the child to enter into the world of work with confidence, saying that I'm going to love my work, I'm going to enjoy my work, and I'm going to do something great there. These three things are important, and every parent wants this for their children, right? Great. So thank you so much, parents, for this. And we've got the 5 lucky parents. And those of you who have given your assessments, we'll all be sending you your reports. So you'll get a report by email. So you're the lucky few parents who registered first for the webinar. We keep doing these webinars. We are going to do these webinars as a regular series. We're going to have new themes coming up in these meetings. We'll be talking about parenting. We'll be talking about careers. We'll be talking about a lot of stuff. We would love to have feedback from you as to what are the topics you are interested in, so that we can, come up and we can have a discussion on it and brainstorm on it. Now, let's open the house to the parents and let's listen to some questions from you.
Naveen, there's a question by Archana, and the question is, more than the kids, I think parents fear so much of the future and then pass it on unknowingly. Later, if you tell us how parents, if you can tell us how parents can get out of this particular thing.
Fantastic question. I think it's a very important question.
Let me answer this question. Now, who created this particular fear in your mind? Okay, the more you see the external part of the world every time, it has been created by the aspirations are created all around you. For example, I see Facebook and I see one of my friends sitting in Switzerland and enjoying. What do I feel? So I feel I should have been there. Okay, now what happens is, since I have not been able to go to Switzerland, I feel really upset and say maybe in future I will go there. Now that's a feeling which I always have. And the day I cannot do it, I still get worried about it. Now the most important thing is, unfortunately, children don't live that way. Children live in today. They enjoy the day. They enjoy every moment. We keep telling them, look at the future, look at the future, look at the future. So somewhere we have to stop. Second thing, future nobody has seen. Okay, what will happen in the next 5 minutes, nobody has seen. What is more important is, if at all you are ready, focus on what the child can do today and enjoy today. And the minute you start doing it, you will start getting a lot of response from the children saying that they love that today thing, now thing, not the future thing. Okay, however, whenever we tell them that there's a hope that you can do this in the future, they slowly start aligning their energies towards that. And that is very important. So don't at all get them away from the from today to just keeping focusing on the future. Give them a strategic goal and let them do whatever they can do very well in the same day which they are doing or same moment which they're doing. And that's what I would suggest. Over to you, Naveen.
I think
You're unmute.
all right. Yeah, sorry. So I'll just add on to what you just said, Anand. Look at me. I'm a mechanical engineer, served in the Navy for 21 years, and came out of it. And today I'm doing something that's close to my heart. Unfortunately, when we were young, we didn't have this kind of guidance. So careers happened by chance and not by choice. And most of us are in that domain. If you are parents, most of us have gone through this. But today we have a system, we have a method to this madness where we can actually pinpoint and give to. But having said that, as Anand rightly brought out, there's nothing that tells a child that you should do only this. I mean, if somebody wants to do something in the field of law and do something crazily there, it doesn't mean that that's the only thing that the child to do in life, because careers are not about that just one thing. It is about this entire life, whatever you want to do. And today's children are multitaskers. Today I'm in Dheya. I'm also a marathon runner. I'm also training people to run marathons. I also conduct marathon events. And I'm doing everything that I would love to do because it's close to my heart. And I'm doing it with passion and with energy. And I'm able to find that even though I'm doing so much of multitasking, I'm still finding time for all those things because I enjoy it. So my point is, if a child enjoys certain things, don't put a break saying that you have to study, so stop playing games. You have to study, so stop doing art. Please don't do that. That's actually detrimental to the improvement of the child. When the child starts managing, time will expand. Whatever the child enjoys doing, let them do it. These children are capable of doing so many things. We do not know their potential. Moment we let them do what they enjoy doing, you will find not only will they do well in what they enjoy doing, they will also start scoring well in academics. This connection I have seen with my own children, and I've seen with a lot of children that I've mentored. So what my suggestion is, if a child is good in something, even if there is a board exam fear on top of your head, even if there is an exam fear, allow them to do what they love to do. Do not put a break on them because exams are there. Don't let them decide. Let them be the owners of their how they manage their time, and you will see a marked change in the way they approach academics, the way they approach you, and they'll connect with you much better because their energies get channelized and excited when they start enjoying what they do, especially when they go for physical activities, they go to sports. Sports is something that I'll say every kid should get into some kind of a sports activity, irrespective of which class they are in. 10th standard board exam doesn't matter. 10th standard board exams are very easy. You don't need to stop sports for that. Sports actually gives more energy to study better. I'm a runner, I can tell you that. I run in the morning and I'm fully energized in the day. If I do not run in the morning, the energy dries down. So, it's opposite. You don't get tired by running or sports. You actually get energized, and when you get used to it, that's the advice that I would give parents here. Right, Anand. Any other questions that parents would like to ask? Sri Vidya has asked a question. Yeah, as Sri Vidya has asked a question, as parents, how much can we mold or influence young kids in their education choices based on our understanding of their talents? Right. It's a brilliant question. Anand, would you like to answer this?
No, go ahead, do that.
Yeah, okay. So see, you as parents, we do not realize the power that we have over our children. So what happens is children do get influenced by their peer, especially when they come to their teenage. They start getting influenced by their peer. They listen to their friends, and they get influenced to that superficial level where they think that this is what they want to do or this is what they want to do. But as parents, the first thing that you need to do is you need to get connected with your child. And I am saying this with a reason. What I have seen is many parents unknowingly have got distanced from their children, especially when the child hits teenage. Unknowingly, you may think that you know your child very well, but what happens is what children are in front of you and what children are with their friends, they are 180 degrees apart. And that's what we have seen in most children. I'm not saying with everyone, but there is this huge number of children that we have seen, especially teenagers, where what they are in front of their friends and what they are with their parents is completely 180 degrees apart. Now, why this happens is the connectivity has not got built in. And why connectivity has not got built in? because somewhere I have become a kind of a rule imposer or a discipliner as a parent, and I am not the friend of the child. So my suggestion is, moment you become a friend of the child, a kind of a, the child will start relating to you as a friend rather than a father or mother who is trying to impose certain rules, saying that you should do this and you should not do this. So that relationship, if you are able to build, which I think could be difficult, but then how it starts off is with what Anand just brought about is appreciation. And I'm not saying you appreciate them for getting less marks. I'm not saying that at any time. What I'm saying is your kid is definitely good at something. Find out what is that your child is good at. Okay. And there could be many things that they are good at. Okay. Look at those things and start genuinely appreciating them for those things. You will start building a connectivity, because if I tell my child, oh, wow, you made a great drawing. So what happens is automatically the child will start coming to you and saying, see, I made another drawing. See, I made another drawing, or I did this better, or I did that. So that way the appreciation cycle starts increasing, and that builds a lot of connectivity. Moment this connectivity is built in, whatever you say to the child is going to listen to you. So that influence automatically happens. And that's the most important key aspect here, is of building a connectivity or a connection with the child so that the child starts listening to you and you become a friend with the child. So appreciation is the key for that. That's my point. Does it answer your question, ma'am? Whatever you asked, Sri Vidya, ma'am. Your mics have been unmuted, so you can actually unmute and speak. Your mics are available.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So thank you very much. I really like to take this opportunity to thank you for doing this webinar. I mean, it's really been very interesting and time well spent. And I can't wait for my children to grow up and take up your assessment. I'm very keen to know what they are going to become later in life. So thank you so much.
Sure, ma'am. And this is a mission that we are on. We want maximum Indians to benefit from this. So we are doing this for the benefit of the entire nation. And we would love, more and more parents to come to us, and we would like to help them, because that's how we believe that the country can grow. Because enough of running behind degrees and jobs. We want youngsters to start thinking about becoming job creators and not just job seekers. That's what we dream of.
Yeah,
Okay,
actually, I would have loved to have connected more of my friends to this kind of call. So, in case you do something in the future, I'd probably.
We are going to do this as a series. We are going to be there every month. Okay, so we are going to be doing a lot of series of these webinars and talks, and we would love to have a feedback. Of course, you're all going to get an email from us. We would love to listen to your feedbacks and cover up the topics of interest or themes of interest that you would like to suggest, and you can invite all your friends for all these sessions, so that more the merrier for us.
Okay, that's a very interesting question. What if a child wants to do graduation in English but don't want to be a teacher or don't want to be a journalist? How can the degree is going to help them career-wise? Wow. Now, frankly, I'll tell you now how this love for English has come, because English is the only maybe scoring subject. And this is Vrunda Bagwe ma'am who said this. Am I right? If I can disable the mic of hers,
Enable the mic, yeah.
Enable the mic. Sorry, enable the mic. Okay. Now, what happens is, among these 5 subjects, one subject is loving. That is that English. Now, I'll tell you something. If you have good language skills, there are too many possibilities to be, right from the digital linguistics that you now these Apple guys are doing through Siri and or maybe the Amazon guys are doing with Alexa, to using language skills to do a lot of translation, do a lot of work across a whole lot of spectrum of languages. Today it's going through a revolution. It's getting digitized completely. On the other side, if you look at just doing English, today there are these people who are corporate communicators, there are people who are ghost writers, who are editors, there are too many things that a person can do using English. Now the possibility showing is our work. Whether the person wants to do this or wants to say that, okay, I'm going to be a South African expert and churning out papers on South Africa strategy, that is something which is very important, that we can always work out based on the child's individual profile. But this is on a very cursory level, which I answered. Right. I hope
Next
I've answered
question.
this question. You
Yeah.
can just mark a thumbs up if it is there, if I've answered this question. Yeah, well, basically loves books. Yes, that's true. There are many things you can plan out using her talents and skills, Vrunda ma'am. Okay, we have the next question here.
Where do we get the path for specific interest of child? Wants to do arms, tanks designing. Who knows the path? Details of college within it. Possible requires mechanical experiment. Can't find design, not found in arms designing. Well, today morning in the newspaper, I saw an, a place where there is a vocational program in Pune University for defense technology. Okay, it's a postgraduate diploma in defense technology, right? And there are so many programs that are there, and doesn't matter what program the child does. If your child is interested in doing arms and tanks designing, I think there are DRDO. DRDO is the right place. There is a science. There is so much of research that is happening in this area. He can go through. The routes are different. You can be a scientific researcher. You can be a designer. You can get into the defense, and through that you can get into the design part of it. There are so many possibilities, and so don't restrict it to saying that only what is the college that is going to give that particular degree, because the world has changed. The world is not dependent on that if you do this degree then you can only do this. If he wants to do something, then build hopes in the child that okay, you've got a capability of doing this and you can really do something great, and you can win yourself a great build an aspiration basically, and then based on that aspiration you can draw out a clear path, and you can also fail proof that path. And planning requires to have a plan A, plan B, plan C and plan D, so that there is no fear of missing out or fear of rejection in the child's mind. Ask me, when I did not clear my JEE, I know what I went through. Okay, and then luckily for me I got through that REC entrance exam, I got through the Navy, and life went on for me. It was lucky that I got through it. But what about those kids who do not make it in the entrance exam? And that's a huge number. 90% of the kids do not make it. So what happens to those 90%? There has to be a plan B, plan C, plan D. The goal doesn't change. Yeah, you want to design tanks, you want to design defense equipment, you're going to do it. How are you going to do it? There could be multiple paths for it. Mechanical engineering could be one path, but there are multiple paths. That's how it is. Yeah, Anand, over to you.
Yeah, okay. Gitesh sir, there's something which is very important. Your child is in 10th standard, and since he's been seeing some YouTube channels, frankly, he loves those tags, designing and all that. Now, frankly, I'm not so sure whether this particular interest will remain the same as you go by. Because this is something which is, most of the kids come out with a very aspirational, because they love doing something, and this moment they have seen some games and all that. I'm not sure about this, so I'm putting a disclaimer about it. You need to go into depth of it. Now, one part is the design part of it. Okay, tank designing, no single person in the world designs a tank. There are thousands of people come together, right from material scientists to the designers, to the engineers, to the mechanical engineers, to the robotics engineers, to everybody comes in. Which part of tank design does your child want to be? Not sure. So it's too broader aspect when it comes to tank design or DRDO and all that. Okay, so I would hold my horses here and say that okay, don't get into something at this stage with a very specific interest and very closed door interest. Sometime in the future we get into something like this and it changes.
Absolutely.
So go at a very broader level. What are the activities your child like to do, and see 20 possibilities in that area before you get into saying that I am going to do only this. It becomes like this, and that's why most of the people get into IITs and get say that there's an end of the road. So,
and this is very true, Anand. And I think this is answer for every parent out here. A lot of parents have started putting question, my son is this, my son is that. So this question is for everybody, that right now you're not sure. Because just because your child says that I'm interested in it, it is not the interest. The interest has to be identified with a lot of depth, with a lot of discussions. It cannot happen over a mass session. A lot of expectations are there. A lot of hidden things are there within every child. So we need to sit down one-on-one, identify that. Before that, an assessment has to be done, identify the nature, whether the nature will align or not. We have to understand the different interests. We have to understand the expectations. There are 13 factors that need to be considered before you take a career decision. Career decisions are not so easily taken that you just listen to somebody and say, okay, do this. And then after 4 years, you realize that this is not what I meant for. So you lose your time, you lose your money, you lose your effort, and time doesn't come back. But you don't take a chance. Don't take a chance with your child's life. Plan it properly. Today there is an option available to plan. If it was not available, it was option's choice. Jo milega kar lo. Today there is an option available. You can sit down, you can do a proper planning, invest into the planning so that you are absolutely sure about what you are getting into. And the kind of investment that you're doing, money is a huge part. But apart from money, the time of the child and your time, which is going to go into this education, is huge. You cannot waste that years. Those years cannot be wasted. So be very careful before you jump into something. That's my suggestion.
Because I'll tell you, what happens is over a period of time, I've seen people who have taken the decision based on certain very low-level interest, like the law part of it. I want to be a lawyer because they saw some very good series in on the television. I want to be a criminologist or whatever that Dr. Salunke in CID. Okay, I want to be an investigator. And then when they realize that this is a very difficult path to get in, or
they run away from that.
What exactly I want, it's complete disillusionment that happens. And I've seen so many people doing law but don't want to do law, have done medicine but don't want to do medicine. I've seen so many engineers who wanted to do something in engineering but don't want to do engineering. So the best thing to do is decide a destination. Now, coming back to the education part of it. Now, let me tell you, education is only 5%. 5% of the learning what your child gets. It is dependent on the professors, the curriculum, the teachers. Your child learns more from the world, from the projects he or she does, from the creations that person does, from the learnings the person does practically. Unfortunately, what has happened is the curriculum setup or maybe the school, college are so limited in knowledge, which are a 200-page book. You cannot concise the entire knowledge in a book of 200 pages. The world of physics is like vast. How can you learn physics in just 200 pages? So, the basic problem is, I would suggest refrain from thinking of education. I can, divert a person from physics to arts, from arts to a physics kind of this thing. We have so many flexibilities today. So don't get worried about it. Education is the last thing you can do. First, focus on what your child can be and start developing your child all around from that time. For example, a child wants to be into the armed forces. Should start from 8th standard. Only the entry part is coming from education, whereas the rest of us come from personality development, running, everything. Your child wants to be a scientist. Only the entry part is the qualification. The rest all is the overall development of the child. And that is what we are missing on. And that is what is more important.
So, what I would suggest is a lot of parents are coming up, my son and all, fine, you have your issues. We are there to help you. We have a solution. We have a system. We are there to help you. Please do get in touch with us and we'll be very happy to, help you out in a very proper manner. It's not a superficial manner. It has to be properly done with all of us sitting together and working together one-on-one. Only then it works. It cannot be done in a mass session like this, right? That's my answer to you.
Okay, the last question is a very interesting question by Pankaja Harish. What to do if the child has fear of not achieving? Although there is no such pressure from me. Yes, ma'am, this is about 99% of the kids. Exactly the same thing. Not achieving. Now, I want to ask you the definition of achieving. We have to change the definition of achieving from just materialistic things to being happy. Now the problem is we have put a lot of, I would call it as benchmarks, on marks. For example, a kid is say 99% nahi mila in Delhi, if you are in Delhi, and if you don't get 99%,
you won't get admission in DU.
You not get admission in DU. But frankly, the child can do substantially well in some other place. And we have so many such examples. Today I have a dropout who won a film festival, award in the festival by launching his own film.
And is running a company at the age of 27.
He owns a company. I have another kid who started .com company. I have a nanoscientist. I have a person not everybody was good at academics. I have a Gandhi fellow who we have helped them. Now these are all people. Okay, and the academic guys went into academics. The non-academic guys did something very well. Now, the minute we focus on only academics, it becomes so limited to the child that the child doesn't look beyond academics and gets like a bonsai. You know, roots are cut, the top leaves are cut, and then you get the child over here. But if you want to let the child be free, he said, don't worry about academics. Be what you want to be. Start learning. And today the situation is like this. There are 18 to 20 avenues that we know in Dheya that can build a complete development plan of a child. Complete. You don't need to go to school at all. And this is what we're talking about.
Okay, the very interesting question has come, Anand. We need to answer this. Jitendra Patel says, are you sure children even at the age of 16 or 17 exhibit maturity to speak or share their preferences of what they love or what they like to do in the rest of their life? This is the point that I was telling you. So many parents have this doubt in their mind.
Okay, now what happens is today these kids are, I would say, overly exposed. Overly exposed. Now, don't take me wrong, but a school which doesn't teach in a rural village sex education, the kids are on the mobile. What is in the sex education? I'm not joking, because they have an inquisitiveness to find it out. They just have an inquisitive to search through things. Now the problem is, what do we allow them to search? Can we give direction to their search? Can we allow them to start making their own decisions? Let's say the earlier generation made a decision at the age of 20. But these kids are making their decisions at the age of 14, 15, 16, 17. Just try telling them not to do certain things. Will they ever listen to you? Please understand, they think they are very mature. And we think they are not so mature. So this gap will always. Now comes the real point, which you're asking me. Do they really know their preferences? Now here's what it is. There's an upbringing that you have got your child in. There's a personality that the child holds at the age of 13. There are some interests that may be developed through more exploration and through more experimentation. Plus, there is something that the world is trying to push the child into. Now, if we don't give a direction to the child, let's say, anybody can pull the child anywhere. And the entire time from the age of 13 to 23, where the highest social learning happens, goes on just pulling here and there. Okay? And this is something which happens. Most of the kids start getting pulled here and there. They just get pulled here and there just because of the market which talks to them. But if we give a direction, the chances of that child swaying away from what he or she wants to do is very important. Let the child explore a particular direction. For example, your child is restless. Don't give him into areas which need to sit at one place. Start exploring into area where the restlessness is nurtured. And that's what it is. Okay, I hope I have answered this question. Okay, how authentic is the dermatologic?
Dermatoglyphic test. I think you're talking about DMIT, Anand. I think he's talking about that fingerprinting test.
We are sure that there is a kind of a underlining just money making game in these particular things. I'm sorry to say, but it's becoming a kind of a, how can you ever, just by giving a thumbprint, can you really learn the learned behavior of the person? The world is moving. There's such a half space. How can you define it? Maybe there's some logic and some, I would call it as some science to it, but not always. Okay? So, I would not make any comment on that, which is not very reliable. So, let's conclude the session. It's already,
going to be 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
The correct age is 13 years. Okay, so 13 years plus you can start the planning. I would not say counseling. Please go for planning, because counseling is again not something that I would put. Counseling in the market is only about selecting a stream of education. Again, it's all education related. What we need to focus is on the work life and not education. Education comes later. It's just a path. What is the work life? That needs to focus on. A plan has to be prepared according to the destination. I think with that we'll take this as a last question, and I'll hand over to Aishwarya to conclude the session. Yeah, Aishwarya, over to you.
Yes, it was really wonderfully held session by Anand and Naveen, and I hope all the parents have got their doubts cleared through the session. So I thank you both of you, Anand and Naveen, and I also thank our all the joining parents. I hope all the doubts and all, though the session was completely fulfilled your thought of coming into the webinar, and thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye.